Hey guys, welcome to our final lesson in our series, Contrast. We've been going through the book of First John for the past 3 weeks, and today is our final lesson. We've run into some choices during these past couple weeks that we as Christians have to make. Another way to label these are going to be tensions. So we've dealt with the choices of light and darkness, belief and denial, obey and rebel. So that leads me to this question: what are ways that these tensions manifest themselves, so show themselves in your life? What are ways these tensions show themselves in your life? So today we hit number 4, love versus fear. So back in the early to mid 90s, there was a show on Nickelodeon called Are You Afraid of the Dark? I think it had a reboot this year. The show would always start with a bunch of teens that would get together around a campfire and tell scary stories, because where else are you going to tell scary stories? Now, usually the episodes weren't terribly terrifying, okay, just enough. Honestly, the scariest part was probably the opening. But it got me thinking about fear and some of the fears that I have. I guess my top 3 would be heights. I can climb a tree, but I don't like being up high. Needles. I'm pretty sure I've said that before. I don't like needles. And snakes, which is kind of funny considering I live in New Mexico. And these are all natural fears. But have you ever thought about irrational fears? Things you or someone might fear, but there's really no reason to fear them? Like one of my best friends, she is absolutely terrified of clowns. So of course I pick on her and I send her pictures of clowns just to mess with her. But I've heard of people being afraid of other things, even more outlandish. Mustard, cheese, pickles, being afraid that you're being watched by a duck, fear of belly buttons, fear of beards. Does this scare you? What's the most irrational fear you had as a child? So, like, most irrational thing for me growing up, I was terrified of skeletons. I saw a show as a child. Probably shouldn't have seen it, but one of the adults was watching it, and I happened to wander into the room, and this skeleton popped up out of nowhere, scared me to death, and I started getting this irrational fear of skeletons, and I was sure they were living in my closet, and I was sure that they were going to drag me away. It got so bad at one point that I actually, if I was leaving a room that my parents were in, I would tell them that I loved them and goodbye, because I thought the skeletons were going to get me and I'd never come back. So that was my most irrational fear. What was yours? What are you most afraid of now? Take a look at some verses with me. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. Psalm 23:4. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. Joshua 1:9. This is my command: be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Psalm 118:6 and 7. The Lord is for me, so I will have no fear. What can mere people do to me? Yes, the Lord is for me. He will help me. I will look in triumph at those who hate me. Mark 5:36. But Jesus overheard them and said to Jairus, don't be afraid, just have faith. 1 John 4:18. Such love has no fear, because perfect love expels all fear. If we're afraid, it's for fear of punishment, and this shows that we have not fully experienced his perfect love. So where God is, there's no fear. There's literally no room. It's not a coincidence. He says it in the Bible so many times. God is continually trying to tell us there's no reason to fear because of his love. We can stand firm and strong. So we're going to do something different. We're going to take some time to let God work. How many of you have actually sat in silence and let God speak to you? So that's what I'm going to ask you to try. I want you to just do your best at listening to what God is saying to you. Okay? We're going to take 5 minutes. You'll see a counter pop up, and then you'll see me after 5. Jesus says, "Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends." 1 John 3:16, we know what real love is because Jesus gave up his life for us. So we also ought to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. It can get really weird to generously and sacrificially love other people. We ultimately need to do a better job as the church of loving people. If God put it on your heart and gave you a name of someone during that 5 minutes, I want you to write that name down in your phone. And I want you to set an alarm to pray for that person every day. Thanks for joining us for our final lesson in the series, Contrast. Be sure to join us on Sunday for our new series, Open. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. New content is available on Sundays and Wednesdays. You can find more information about us at sunsetyouthgroup.com. You can follow us on Facebook at Sunset Youth Group, hashtag SYG Carlsbad, and Instagram at sunset_youth_group. And you can also email us at sunsetyouthministry@gmail.com. Have a great rest of your day.